Hi everybody, my name is Colleen Evans. I am Director of Natural Sciences at the Staten Island Museum, and today I'm going to share with you some of our taxidermy bird collection and why we have it. So, like most older museums, we have a very large and very diverse collection of taxidermy birds. For the most part, our taxidermy bird collection only contains species found on Staten Island, although we do have a few exotic species. I pulled out a couple here today. Some of the species I've pulled out are only found during certain times of the year, so something like this bufflehead's really only found during the winter time, whereas others are year-round residents, so like this cardinal here is generally found all year round. Collections like these are actually difficult, if not impossible, for museums to recreate nowadays. And the reason for that is the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which was signed in the early 1900s. It's a treaty between the United States, Canada, and several other nations. And it protects basically all bird species from any sort of active collecting, either of the birds themselves, their eggs, or their nests. The reason for the treaty is that during the early 1900s, a lot of bird species were in significant decline. And in some ways, the Treaty Act itself is a direct response to the extinction of the passenger pigeon. The last passenger pigeon died in 1914, and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act was signed soon afterwards. And so all of the birds that I have out, except for one, are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. And modern museums, in order to collect birds, either need to have an active research purpose and would have to apply for permitting, or they have what's called a salvage permit, which allows them to collect found dead birds, and they need to be birds that were killed by indirect human contact. So things like roadkill or window strikes are considered okay, but you can't necessarily pick up a bird that's been shot. Of the birds I have out, I do have one that is not protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and that's the European starlings, this guy here. There are two other birds not protected, and that is the English or house sparrow and the rock pigeon. All three of those are not native to the United States, and so the U.S. government does not regulate the collection of them because they're a lot less concerned about their populations, whereas we're of course very concerned about our native species and making sure that they're protected from active collecting and from having significant population impacts. So that's just a little bit of our bird collection and why we have it. I thank you guys for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.